They're watching you. They know your weaknesses. They plant small seeds of doubt in your mind, slowly and quietly. They understand how to bend your thoughts and push you in the direction they want. That's why you must watch, learn, and implement. Otherwise, you risk becoming a victim. The choice is yours. Trick number 1. Twisting good news. Twisting good news is a dark psychology trick often used by controlling partners and narcissistic parents. It may look harmless on the surface, but it is designed to slowly break someone's confidence. Most people look for validation when they share good news. They want encouragement, pride, and support. This trick does the opposite. Instead of celebrating your success, they subtly reduce its value. When someone is excited about an achievement, like getting a promotion at work or passing an exam, the manipulator finds a way to make it feel not good enough. They don't openly criticize, they simply add a small negative comment that changes how you feel. For example, a child says, "Hey Dad, I got an A in political studies." Instead of showing pride, the response is, "Doesn't the grade go up to A+? But that's still good." Just like that, the excitement disappears. The achievement feels smaller. The joy fades. Confidence takes a hit. It's like telling a hero, "You saved the world, but couldn't you have done it without breaking anything?" The focus shifts from success to flaws. Over time, this makes a person doubt themselves, even when they're doing well. So pay attention to how people respond to your good news. Are they lifting you up or quietly pulling you down? Have you ever shared something you were proud of, only to feel discouraged by the response you received? Trick number 2. The shield, nouns versus verbs. This is a clever and dark psychology trick that many people don't even notice. Human beings have a deep need to belong. We naturally move toward groups that reflect who we are and signal our identity to others. Being part of a group makes us feel safe, accepted, and understood. Manipulators understand this very well and know how to use it to their advantage. One powerful method they use is choosing nouns instead of verbs. A verb describes an action, but a noun describes an identity. When someone turns an action into an identity, it becomes much stronger and harder to question. For example, instead of saying, "I like drinking wine," they say, "I'm a wine drinker." Drinking is something you do, but drinker becomes who you are. Studies show that when people use nouns, it reinforces a sense of belonging to a group. Once you start identifying yourself as part of that group, you feel connected to it. And when you feel connected, you become easier to influence, persuade, and control. That's how this trick works quietly, without force or pressure. This is why you should be careful with the labels you accept and the identities you take on. What starts as a small word can slowly shape how you see yourself. Have you ever noticed how a simple label can change the way you think about who you are? Trick number 3. Agree to disagree. This is one of the most powerful and commonly used dark psychology tricks. When someone is angry, upset, or emotionally charged, their mind is closed and defensive. In that moment, arguing with them only makes things worse. Manipulators know this, so instead of opposing them, they agree. Saying things like, "That's understandable," "I completely agree with you," or "You're right," can quickly change the direction of the emotion. The anger is no longer aimed at you. Once you agree with them, they feel heard and validated. Instantly, they begin to see you as someone who is on their side. Agreement lowers their emotional guard, the tension fades, and trust starts to build. If you agree often enough, they may open up more, share private thoughts, and even include you in important decisions. At that point, influence becomes easy because they believe you truly understand them. This is why agreement is such a powerful tool. It doesn't fight emotions, it redirects them. And once someone believes you are aligned with them, they are far more willing to listen to what you say next. Have you ever noticed how quickly someone calms down when you simply agree with them instead of arguing? Trick number 4, the ego elevator, also known as the "will you help hide the body" trick. This dark psychology trick works by lifting someone's ego, and it can be especially effective with women. There is one thing almost everyone enjoys talking about, and that is themselves. For most people, their favorite subject is their own life, thoughts, and experiences. An easy way to start a conversation or remove awkward silence is by asking people questions about themselves. When you do this, they feel important, heard, and valued. Because of that, they usually enjoy the conversation more and feel comfortable around you. This simple act can make a strong impression without you saying much at all. This trick is often used on dates because it puts you in control of the conversation while making the other person feel good. At the same time, it allows you to learn more about them beyond the surface level. You're not just talking, you're gathering information and building connection. For example, you might ask, "What do you do for work?" They may reply, "I work in PR." You can then say, "Oh, really? That probably sounds easier than it actually is." They might respond, "Yes, it really is harder than people think." From there, the conversation flows naturally. They talk more, feel understood, and enjoy being around you. By gently lifting someone's ego and showing interest in their world, you guide the interaction without force. That's why this trick is so effective when used correctly. Have you noticed how people open up more when you let them talk about themselves? Trick number 5, question manipulation. This is a simple but powerful dark psychology trick. Studies show that the way you ask a question can strongly influence the answer you receive. Skilled manipulators understand this and use it to guide people's thoughts without them even realizing it. When you ask a question, the wording matters more than most people think. For example, instead of asking, "What do you think of John?" you could ask, "Did you notice how John is always late?" This instantly directs attention toward John's lateness, even if the person never thought about it before. To get the answer you want, there are a few steps to follow. First, decide what answer you are hoping to hear. This helps you shape the question in the right direction. Next, add a small hint or assumption into the question. For example, if you want someone to believe a project is failing, you could ask, "When did you start thinking the project was going wrong?" This makes it sound like something is already wrong, even if they didn't feel that way before. You should also be clear with your words to guide their thinking. Instead of asking, "What do you think of the new policy?" you could ask, "How do you think the new policy will hurt our team?" This pushes their thoughts toward a negative view. Another tactic is limiting their options. Instead of asking, "Do you like this idea?" you could ask, "What do you like most about this idea?" This forces them to focus on the positive. Asking the right question is like hiding something in plain sight. If done well, no one notices what really happened. Trick number 6, staying calm. Law 39 of the 48 Laws of Power suggests stirring up the water to catch fish. This means when someone becomes emotional or angry, you should remain calm. Staying calm while the other person is losing control makes them appear unstable, triggered, or foolish. Manipulators know exactly which buttons to press to provoke strong reactions. They throw emotional grenades and then step back to watch the chaos. While the other person explodes, the manipulator stays composed, gaining power through control and silence. Trick number 7, the gratitude gambit. This is a very simple dark psychology trick. It starts with saying thank you for the smallest things, like someone moving aside or handing you a glass of water. You do this consistently until it becomes normal for them to receive your appreciation. Once they're used to it, you suddenly stop saying thank you for 1 or 2 moments. Because they now value your appreciation, they feel its absence strongly. This makes them want to earn it back, often by trying harder to please you. Think of it as controlled praise and controlled silence. When used correctly, people begin to crave your approval without even knowing why. Power, control, and influence all come from understanding how the human mind works. Most people never learn this knowledge. They stay unaware, reactive, and easy to influence, while others quietly move ahead. Do you think understanding these psychological tricks makes you more powerful or simply more aware? Trick number 8, quid pro quo. There's an art to asking for help and actually getting what you want. According to the 48 laws of power, simply appealing to someone's kindness, good nature, or sense of gratitude is often not enough. If you truly want someone to help you, you must understand what they value. Instead of asking for a favor with nothing in return, think about what matters to them. It could be money, recognition, respect, or even their time. When you offer something they care about, their motivation to help you increases instantly. For example, if you need help with a project at work, instead of saying, "Can you help me with this?" you could say, "If you help me with this, I'll make sure you get full credit for the work." Now the request is no longer just a favor, it becomes an exchange. By offering something valuable, you make it much harder for the other person to say no. People naturally respond to incentives. Offer them a reward, and they're more likely to follow your lead. Just remember, the power is in knowing when to offer the reward and when to stay silent. Do you think people help more out of kindness or because something valuable is offered in return? Trick number 9, the power of we. Queen Victoria once said, "We are not amused," and that single sentence captured the mood of an entire nation. This shows how powerful language can be. Words don't just communicate ideas, they influence emotions, behavior, and decisions. A skilled manipulator understands this and chooses words very carefully. One simple but effective technique is changing the pronoun from I to we. Research suggests that this small shift can subtly change how people view a situation. When you use I, a request feels personal and one-sided, but when you use we, it becomes shared, cooperative, and collective. Using we turns a demand into a shared goal. It creates the feeling that both people are on the same team, working toward the same outcome. Because of this, it becomes much harder for the other person to refuse. For example, instead of saying, "I need you to hurry or we'll be late," you say, "We need to hurry or we'll be late." The message is the same, but the emotional impact is very different. One feels like pressure, the other feels like teamwork. This small change in language can quietly increase influence without sounding forceful or controlling. Have you noticed how the word "we" can make a request feel more cooperative and harder to say no to? Trick number 10, the advice advantage. Studies show that if you want someone to say yes, it is better to ask for their advice rather than their opinion. Asking for an opinion creates psychological distance. It allows the other person to stay neutral, objective, and critical of your idea. When you ask for advice, the effect is very different. It pulls the person in and makes them feel involved. Instead of judging from the outside, they become part of the process. Now they're not just observers, they're allies working with you to improve the idea. By asking for advice, you turn the conversation into a partnership. People are far more likely to support something they helped shape. Once they give advice, they feel invested in the outcome and naturally want it to succeed. The novelist Saul Bellow captured this perfectly when he said, "When we ask for advice, we're usually looking for an accomplice." That's the real power behind this trick. Have you ever noticed how people support your idea more once you ask for their advice instead of their opinion? Trick number 11, the backhanded compliment.
Praise is usually seen as a good thing.
After all, who doesn't enjoy a compliment once in a while? But when we talk about manipulation, compliments can be used in a much more strategic way. One powerful method is complimenting someone behind their back. At first, this may seem harmless or even kind, but it is actually a very effective manipulation trick. When you praise someone to others, the compliment is likely to reach them sooner or later. When it does, they feel good, valued, and grateful, and that gratitude is directed toward you. What makes this trick so effective is that it feels genuine. You're not flattering them directly, so it doesn't sound forced or fake. For example, you might say to someone else, "I could never say this to his face, but he's a really talented musician." Or if someone values recognition for their hard work, you could say, "I'd never tell them directly, but they're incredibly good at what they do." Eventually, these words make their way back to the person. When that happens, they associate those positive feelings with you. You influence how they see you without ever praising them face to face. Over time, this builds a positive image of you in their mind. It's like planting a seed of goodwill. Slowly, it grows into trust, admiration, and liking. They feel comfortable around you and are more likely to support you or listen to you. So if you ever want someone to think well of you without obvious flattery, a compliment behind their back can be a quiet and powerful move. It's subtle, sneaky, and effective. Much like Scar from The Lion King, who praised and charmed others while secretly planning his betrayal, people enjoy your compliments while never realizing your deeper intentions. Do you think compliments are more powerful when said directly or when they reach someone indirectly? Trick number 12, mirroring. Mirroring is one of the most effective dark psychology tricks because it works on a subconscious level. We naturally like people who are similar to us. This includes shared political views, music choices, books we enjoy, the sports teams we support, and many other preferences. When we sense similarity, we feel safer and more connected. This attraction to people like us also extends to body language. The way someone sits, gestures, speaks, or even pauses can influence how comfortable we feel around them. Manipulators understand this and use it to their advantage. By subtly copying another person's body language, tone of voice, or pace of speech, you can make them feel like you're on the same wavelength. They may not notice it consciously, but their mind picks up on the similarity. As a result, they begin to trust you more and feel more relaxed in your presence. The key is to keep it natural and subtle. Obvious copying can feel strange or uncomfortable, but gentle mirroring makes the other person feel understood and connected without knowing why. This is why mirroring is so powerful. It creates a false sense of familiarity and closeness, making people more open to influence. Have you ever felt instantly comfortable with someone without knowing exactly why? Trick number 13, the foot in the door. This trick may seem counterintuitive, but it is surprisingly effective. If someone is cold, distant, or unfriendly toward you, ask them for a small favor. This dark psychology technique was suggested by Benjamin Franklin, who famously recommended borrowing a book from someone you wanted to win over. The reason this works is simple. As humans, we tend to like people we do favors for. When someone helps you, even in a small way, their mind looks for a reason to justify that action. Subconsciously, they begin to think, "I wouldn't help someone I dislike," and slowly their feelings toward you soften. By doing a favor for you, they start to feel more connected. The small act creates a sense of involvement, and in some cases, a subtle feeling of obligation. Over time, this can warm even the coldest interactions. That's the power behind the foot in the door technique. It starts with something small, but it opens the door to trust, familiarity, and influence. Have you ever noticed how helping someone can unexpectedly make you like them more? Trick number 14, the choice charade. Children naturally love to be defiant and do things their own way. Being told exactly what to do often makes them resist, even if the task is simple. This is why a psychological approach works better by framing a command as a choice. Instead of forcing someone to do something they don't want to do, you give them the illusion of control. They feel like they're making the decision, even though the outcome is the same. This sense of control reduces resistance and makes cooperation easier. For example, instead of telling a child, "Clean your room," you could ask, "Would you rather make your bed first or put your toys away?" The room still gets cleaned, but the child feels empowered instead of controlled. The task feels less overwhelming, and they're more willing to take action. This trick works because people, especially children, respond better when they believe they have a choice. Control feels good, even if it's only an illusion. Do you think people cooperate more when they feel in control, even if the options are limited? Trick number 15, the because boost. Explaining why you need a favor makes people far more likely to help you. When you give a reason, you allow others to mentally justify saying yes. Once a reason is present, even a simple one, people feel more comfortable agreeing. This dark psychology technique works by using one powerful word, because. When you say because, you signal that there's a reason behind your request. Surprisingly, humans don't always care what the reason is. They just want to know that a reason exists. For example, if you ask someone standing in a queue, "Can I get past you?" they might hesitate. But if you say, "Can I get past you because," most people will let you through, no matter what comes next. You could even say something strange like, "Can I get in front of you because I'm wearing a red shirt?" and nearly half of the people would still agree. The reason doesn't need to make sense. According to Harvard Business Review, even when the explanation is weak, unrelated, or illogical, people respond positively simply because a reason was given. They don't analyze it deeply, they just accept it. You can use this technique in everyday situations. If you want someone to do a small favor for you, just say, "Can you do this because?" and your chances of success increase dramatically. This works best for minor or casual requests. For important life decisions, people will naturally ask for more details. Still, for daily interactions, this is an incredibly effective tool. Have you noticed how much easier it is to say yes when someone explains their reason, even briefly? Important message. If you ever want someone to do a small favor for you, remember this. You might think you already understand manipulation, but think again. What you've learned so far is only the surface. There's a much deeper world beneath it, a world most people never see or understand. Dark psychology is vast, powerful, and dangerous when used without awareness. Once you step into it, the influence can feel endless, like a black hole pulling you deeper and deeper. The more you learn, the more you realize how much control language, behavior, and timing truly have over people. If this video has opened your eyes, then you're not ready to stop yet. It goes deeper into the hidden side of influence and manipulation that most people never talk about. Once you enter this world, there is no easy way out. Do you think learning about manipulation gives you power, or does it come with responsibility? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more powerful videos.